sucks. None of us like it. We've been with some of us have been with our teams for 3, 4, 5 years. But at the same time, it's not fair to force those teams to stay together and have one player playing up for them. And it's not just us. But what the thing we talked about, Chad and I are going to look at no matter what is their true age group? That's our first criteria. Where can they play? Where should they play? What is the need? Hey, if we only have 6 people in this age group, obviously we can't make a team out of that. So they're going to all have to be looked at as playing us. And then ability. Can they handle playing? And that's how we make our decision. Ideally, we're still here. True age, 6th graders, 7th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, 8th graders. If we can't do that, we will go to the next grade. All right. I'm sure there's plenty of questions on this, but I'm not going to take any more tonight because I don't have any more answers than that. Yes, definitely cannot play down, and definitely play up, except for this weird unknown traffic. And you'll probably, I can tell you just from the charts I've seen, you won't see this displayed at grade levels. They will stick to this U16, U7, but they'll truly be under 16. Everybody in that age group will be under 16, under 15. So it'll still say U16, U15, whatever, which sucks because we just switched to using birth years in all of our team names. So now we can go back to U15, U16, whatever. So, all right. I'm going to go off screen for a second. All right. So notice a couple things that we did talk about in the fall and also at parent meetings. And this is more restatement than anything else. I'm not saying anybody's doing these things. These are just restatements of things. In regards to refs, and this is the policy of Ohio Soccer and U.S. Youth Soccer and U.S. Club, they are not at all playing around if they get notification of an issue. So arguing, obviously if you say something, most refs let it go. If you say it the second time, they may say something. After that, they get a little bit irritated. So arguing, being condescending, swearing, etc. towards the ref is not going to be tolerated. Meaning you as a parent or the club, can face disciplinary action from the club or league. What typically happens, because we did have a situation last year, it was not an express parent, it was actually a carrier parent, followed around with a call. And they call asking for details. That parent is not allowed on the sideline at any game. That's what the rule is. They're not allowed. Who polices that? How they police it? That's Perrysburg's problem. I know Chad and I have talked about how we will police it, and we'll just make it a point to tell the coach that this parent's not allowed, the league said they're not allowed. We'll go from there, and we'll obviously have a conversation. From what I've been told, that will follow. So it's the league gets notified by the ref, and the ref assigner gets notified by the ref that there was an issue. The ref assigner investigates, lets the league know, the league reports it to the state and us, and then we're supposed to deal with it. But if you do get into that situation, your name will be with the state. So, and then so in that situation, following ref to the car, making a threat to a ref, any ref, especially the ones that are young, will absolutely result. Regardless, if we catch wind of it, meaning me or Chad, you will be removed from the sideline for the rest of the season. Keep in mind, a lot of the refs that work for us, because they do technically work for the club through our ref assigner, are Maumee soccer players and Maumee students, or from local area clubs and people we know. So you're essentially threatening a kid to go to school with your kid. That's not a good look for anybody. And that extends to the adults. They make mistakes, just let it go. When the game's over, the game's over. Sideline behavior and policy. Is a club policy to behave in a manner appropriate for your surroundings? The surrounding is, it's youth soccer, right? You're on the sideline of youth soccer. It's not the World Cup. It is what it is. Things you can do: cheer for and encourage your player in our teams, polite behavior towards the other team's parents, coaches, and most importantly, their players on the field. Don't yell, scream, or deride any player for any reason, argue with other teams' parents or officials, or spread negativity. It's okay to be upset or disappointed, it's not okay to be a jerk. Being said, the club, Chad and I in particular, do have an open door policy. If you have any questions or concerns about your player, by all means talk to your coach first. That doesn't get rid of it. If you have questions or concerns about your team, talk to your coach first. If one or two don't get it resolved, feel free to reach out to me or Chad. And that still doesn't resolve the issue, we can work something else out, including a release if it's just not the right thing. Sideline negativity can be very, very detrimental to our long-term goals. Oftentimes, an offhanded comment in the heat of the moment spirals into rumor, and the next thing you know, this person's upset, that person's leaving, etc. The easiest way to combat this is to go to the source or subject of the rumor instead of spreading it. When in doubt, reach out. I work really hard. And then coaching decisions. We're far, far from perfect, but each of us does have experience and ways we do things, including playing time, playing level, because believe it or not, the playing level of every team is decided by the coach, not me, not Chad. We have some input, but in general, we talk to the coach, see how they are, where they're at. We generally start practicing a couple weeks before we have to submit that information to the league anyway. They have a feel for their team, new players, where they've grown, where they haven't. They let us know. Yeah, we're good, we're gonna move up to Division I. No, we need to stay at Division II. No, we need to move down. All these things are conversations we have, and our conversation with the coach is typically more of pushing them to really think about it a little more than just do the same thing. And that includes tournament play and league play. So, you know. Yeah.
So with the refs,
Yeah.
what happens when you play with the ref and the ref is all making calls over the other team and then there was going on our team?
At the end of the day, it is what it is.
I mean, I understand that, but like, if it's noticed, could it be like a thrown out game and then play again with a different ref?
That won't happen. The coach has the option to protest the game's results, but that has to be done at the end of the game in full view of the other coach and with the coach. So when it gets marked down, it goes back to the league. This game was played under protest. The league will reach out to everybody, figure out what's going on. I think I've had it happen to me like 3 times for various reasons. One, I just didn't have my cards, and the other coaches didn't care, but the ref had to write it down. Another time, whatever. They're all usually stupid situations. The ref being incompetent, unfortunately, is not usually one of the looked at because they all have the same training. Now, if there's a concern with the ref, again, the best thing to do is go to your coach, let them talk to me about it, because I can reach out to our ref and say, hey, here's what happened. Don't think this person's ready to be a center. I have a fantastic relationship with our ref assigner. Danielle's been with us for, I don't even know how long, longer than anybody else associated with the club right now. And she does a great job with training young refs, getting them involved. She's actually the Northwest Ohio State League trainer, state referee trainer. And she still actively refs at the high school and college. So she's very involved. She knows the difference between a quality and a competent ref. The biggest problem is, as soccer keeps growing, the ref pool keeps shrinking. And getting older. So, you know, we're kind of in a bind. You're gonna have to take the refs that you get, unfortunately, to make sure.
I just noticed the one time, last year, we had a ref that was for the centers, and then after the game, she was blowing the whistle all on us, and then at the end of the game, she actually went over to the team and passed out bracelets to all of them.
I can tell you for a fact, most of these younger refs play for a club. So their affiliations are there. I'd like to think between the lines they're all nonpartisan, but it's hard. Especially if the coach on the other sideline for the other team wants their coach in it. So. But I can definitely reach out. And when it's an away game, there's really not a whole lot I can do other than pass it on to our rep assigner who can talk to the other rep assigners. So anyway, so yeah, we're all far from perfect. We make bad decisions. We make decisions that may look bad. But playing time, playing level, who's subbing and when, who's guest playing and when, they're all fine to discuss, right? They're all fine to discuss, and it's perfectly fine to ask questions and even disagree with any of those decisions. But when you have those conversations, you may be really surprised at what the answers are and why we're doing things. And our number one goal is not winning youth soccer leagues or tournaments, believe it or not. It is development of every player and express at their level to meet their best possibility. And ultimately having them ready to play for high school or beyond. So our goal is to continue to push it, right? So we had a lot of teams jump into Division II or Division I from the lower division and not do as well as they did prior. Well, no doubt, they're playing better teams, including at least one that I coached this year where, we got used to beating a tar out of everybody and then moved up a division, and it sucks being the ball instead of the windshield. So, but they're learning, they're getting better, and a lot of that pays off in the long run. But it is tough. So, again, coach's decision, obviously the easy button would have been to sit down in the division and keep beating everybody, but they're not going to get any better. And if you watch a 7-0 or 10-0 soccer game, there's not a whole lot of really good learning going on there at any point for anyone. And they can develop really bad. So we're trying to keep them pushed as hard as we can. If that means losing some games, so be it. I've always said I'd rather lose a game 2-1 than win a game 10-0. Tournaments are a little bit different. All right, so again, same thing with the vision. Affordable community club that's competitive, staff, committees, systems, all that fun stuff. Keep it going long after I'm gone. Continue to have 1 to 2 teams in every age group on both sides of the club would be huge. And coach blocks are how we end up doing that. Keeping in mind, we want to keep this as one club. We want to continue to grow it. We love being able to leverage having 13 teams and 130 plus players as a way of getting better opportunities, making connections with other clubs that are like, oh crap, yeah, you have enough teams to come out. And a lot of stuff like that in the West too. And then the licensing here division. Things we need. This came up before. Defined and staff committees. There's a whole slide on that I'll get to. Tournament committee is a big one. Club registrar. This is specifically for our express side Gosport registration. There's just a lot of back and forth as we go through tryouts and send out invites and get accepted invites, and then once those players are in the club, putting them on the right team and making sure they get carded. Very time consuming, but having somebody do that would be huge. And also then that person would help with registration on tournaments. They'd be a de facto member of we need somebody to help us with our website. As much as I'd like to be able to keep it up to date, the best I can do is load end of season tickets. That's the extent. And I update the mice registration every time, and I'll do fall trials too. But other than that, it's going to look like exactly like it looks right now until somebody else comes through. It is, I can't remember the name of the software. If anybody is interested or has a background in that or really wants to get involved, reach out. And I can send you all the information to see if it's a fit. But we have been, through begging, borrowing, and clawing, collecting pictures and collecting stuff like we shared on the website, telling the stories a little bit. We just need somebody to put it all on. Assistant coaches at all levels. Ideally, some that are willing to keep at it and eventually become head coaches and take over teams or groups of teams. Team managers, some are going to be open. And then I want to talk on that for just a minute. The main thing we need from team managers is the communication from the club. That's the number one goal. Beyond anything else that we would ask the team managers to do, it's communicating stuff from the club to the team. Otherwise, one person's going through, they have to be added to every team, and they have to go through and repost the same thing over and over. And if you're in multiple teams, sometimes you don't always get the notification to see them. So it's very difficult to do. So having a team manager for each team that does that is a huge help. It went okay, but it was the first time we had a collective team manager set up. So we know there's some tweaks and maybe we weren't as clear with some of the needs. Beyond the team, the communication from the club, and that's like fundraisers, training schedules, hey, we're doing this for the tournaments, whatever. The next thing is managing the cards, managing the stupid printouts that all the coaches have to have at the games, adding guest players, handling some of the other kind of and inputting scores at the end of games, stuff like that. That is not as big of a need, it's really not that complicated. Some of our coaches struggle with it a little bit, but in general, it's not that hard. The biggest need is the communication aspect. Number one need. So, again, if you're interested in being a team manager, reach out to me or your coach. This one has a green check. I know we didn't get quite as far as we wanted, but field schedule manager, so Aaron has stepped into that role, and we've worked a lot in the fall more as a test to see how it worked out, to have everything that's happening on a field, in that field. I think we missed the practice, and we're still working on that as the season wound down. But it was a huge help for me just having that information. When MISA games had to be moved, or somebody had to change a practice, or a game had to be rescheduled, to be able to look and go, yeah, you're good, the field's open. Instead of having to dig through 17 different email accounts, Facebook Messenger, text, phone calls, talk to Ashley, talk to Brad, talk to this person, talk to that person to find out where everybody was at. Oh, and then go through the express side to make sure there's no games or practices. It was a nightmare. That made it a ton easier having all that information in one spot, so we'll keep working on that. So just know, field schedule manager has a check, Aaron's doing it, great job. We're gonna enhance it a little bit. The city has some involvement in this, so there's still moving pieces there too. I'm not a fan of it. And then obviously anybody who wants to be involved in MISA. If you have younger children that are still doing MISA and you want to be involved, or you have older children that are in Express but still want to be involved in soccer, reach out. I'm always all ears for anything MISA. It is very near and dear to my heart. It's how I got started in soccer in Maumee. And it's also the lifeblood of Express and ultimately the high school. In the winter, I know John's out there, and I think there's a few other littles from this group that are out there with us. Right now, we have 4 one-hour sessions from MISA Mondays and Wednesdays, and we're hitting 20s. I think this week on Wednesday, yesterday, we got 26 plus kids in each session. And these are like as young as 2 and as old as 5th grade, I think. There's Bryce and Matt out there, but. So it spans all ages, and then starting in January, they'll be playing games in the small field, which is a riot to watch. Too many people. Okay, so some of the committee ideas, definitely MISA committee / commissioners, summer camps. We did not do a summer camp this year for MISA or Express. The time just fell apart on us. So having a committee that can make sure that's scheduled, locked out, and the people that are going to run it are aware they're going to be running it and when they need to be there would be great. Somebody to help out with more of the summer conditioning and scrimmages. I love being out there helping with those, but believe it or not, on every Wednesday and Saturday, I actually do have other places I would like to be occasionally in the summer. So I have a ton of fun, and I love it. I don't want that to go away. I think it's been a huge help in a lot of ways, but I would really like some more help. Foundation committees for community outreach. I'll let Ashley talk about that in a minute. These are all foundation committees. Community outreach, one committee, casino night, dine and donate. I think the big one is the casino night. Dine and donate is good. Got it, sorry. She didn't put a check, but dine and donate is good.
Tracy's good on that.
But the casino night stuff is going on right now, and I know they're going to need a ton of help with that. So if you want to help with casino night, reach out to Ashley or Bailey or Megan.
Okay, so really quick, casino night's coming up. It's gonna be March 28th. We're down to 2 locations, so as soon as we have that, we'll put out more information. But more importantly, we revamped our sponsorship packages, and we are offering, if you or if anyone in the club that you know owns a business, we are offering a discount for sponsorship packages for anyone in the club that owns their own business. So if you're in the club and you have a business, we're doing a 15% shouted out, they're gonna have like a special designation as a Maumee Soccer Club owned business. So you will have a separate highlight designation, like these businesses are owned and operated by Maumee Soccer Club families. So you'll have like special information. But these are our sponsorships. If you have any more questions about that, just shoot me a message and I can actually send you the flyer so you can look at it in more detail later. Or if you want to send it to somebody that you know, just let me know. And then also, Christmas is coming. If you need some spirit wear or do any Christmas shopping, our spirit wear is open 24/7. So I just had to do a little plug for that. We do, is it 20%, 15%? We get a percentage of it back to the foundation. So spirit wear is available if you need any Christmas shopping. But yeah, I wanted to put that in there about the sponsorships. We sent an email out, but I know not everybody checks their email. And also, if you wanted help with anything else with the casino night coming up, just shoot me a message. We're just starting to get into the planning of that. So, all right.
Mayor, that's it. That's the wrap. We want to hear your thoughts. Obviously, we're going to get kicked out of here, or they're going to keep us in for detention. One of the two. And it's been a long time since I've been in trouble in school. So, yeah, if you have any questions or thoughts, something we didn't address, I mean, I'm going to be around for a couple more minutes at least, and before I'm available, I can always text me.
So you have any words we might be playing out spring?
Spring, yes, very soon because they fill up very fast. Yeah, we're just waiting on a few things to go through in the dark. So that's a great. So for the oldest teams, a lot of times our freshmen come back. We're still figuring it out. Is that obviously with 18 on the roster, any of them coming back, we've got that great stuff for us. In a good way, for the most part, but that'll be very soon. Biggest thing is gonna go. No, yes, for everybody who's been through it, we are absolutely not ever attempting to talk to you ever again. 2 strikes and they're out.
It's like, I was gonna go home and watch TV, but now I'm gonna go home and go. I know, I was like, I wanted to watch Stranger Things. I'm so tired. I can catch her, so thank you.